This is another collaboration between us and Lee from 6 Kids Productions. Do you remember her? She also produced our Easy Shrimp Pad Thai video, so be sure to check that out if you haven't. We'll leave a link for you down below. This time, Lee was inspired by her recent trip to California with her husband, where she fell in love with fish tacos. She said that they couldn't get enough of them. And believe me, because we moved here to Chicago from California, I totally get it. This time, Lee wanted me to teach her how to make a healthy and fresh tasting taco that she could tackle at home without a grill. So that's why I'm sharing with you today my fish tacos with fresh salsa. They're healthy, light, and bursting with fresh flavor, and there's no batter or grill involved. So if you want to learn how to make these, then grab your limes and your tomatoes, let's go into the kitchen and I'll show you how to make them. These fish tacos do have a little bit more ingredients than my recipes usually require, but trust me, they're so simple, they're easy to find, and you won't regret it. So what you're gonna need for my fish tacos with fresh salsa is mahi-mahi, canola oil, cumin, chili powder, iceberg lettuce, corn tortillas, light sour cream, limes, jalapenos, tomatoes, onion, olive oil, apple cider vinegar, garlic, cilantro, and agave. So I'm starting on my fresh salsa first, and what I have in a medium bowl is a half cup of red onion. You can use red or white, it's up to you. And what I did is just put it in a bowl of hot water and for 30 seconds, then I drained it and then put it in a bowl of cold water for 30 seconds and drained it again. This removes the spicy bite of the raw onion, so it's a good trick to know. Then I have 1 clove of finely minced garlic, and then I have 2 jalapenos. So this is my trick to removing the seeds and the pits easily. I just cut it down on the sides, and then the white pit and the seeds stay intact. Next, I have 3 medium-sized tomatoes. So I'm using beefsteak tomatoes because that's what I had, but you could use plum tomatoes too. But if you use plum tomatoes, I would use about 4 or 5 because they're smaller. So I'm just gonna dice up all these tomatoes and add them to the bowl. Then I'm gonna use a 1/4 cup of coarsely chopped fresh cilantro. Now I'm gonna add lime juice to the salsa, but I'm also gonna use limes for the marinade for our fish. So what I like to do is just do it in advance. I zest the lime first because the zest has the most flavor in it. And then I squeeze out a couple of limes. So I like to just keep some zest and juice on the side. That way I don't have to sit there and worry about squeezing it for the salsa and then squeezing it for the fish. For the fresh acidic flavor of the salsa, you're gonna need 2 tablespoons of fresh lime juice. Use 1, 2. Then you're gonna also need apple cider vinegar. So we're gonna use 2 tablespoons of that. And to balance out all that acid, we're gonna add a tablespoon of olive oil. It's kind of like making a salad dressing. If your tomatoes are at the peak of their season and they're super sweet, you don't really need to add this. So I'm using a teaspoon of agave. And if you don't have agave, you can always use a pinch of sugar or even some honey. And of course, you need some salt. And this is totally personal, so just add what you think. And also as it sits, it kind of changes in flavor, so make sure you taste it after it's done marinating too. As it sits, it is going to extrude a lot of water because it's coming from both the onions and the tomatoes. In the end, you can even drain it, which is what I'll probably do because I'm going to put it in the tortilla and I don't want it to get soggy. Okay, I'm going to pop it into the fridge for 30 minutes, clean off my cutting board a little bit, and move on to marinating my fish. With any marinade, usually you start with some sort of oil. So I'm gonna use 3 tablespoons of canola oil. You can use vegetable oil. Then we have that lime juice that we reserved before, and I'm gonna use 2 tablespoons of that. and then a half tablespoon of the lime zest. This will add that pop. And then I have a teaspoon each of cumin and chili powder. So in goes the cumin. These are like classic taco flavors, I guess. And then you need to season your fish too. So a half teaspoon of kosher salt or a quarter teaspoon of fine salt. And then just whisk away. Let me tell you, this is very fragrant. Lee and I actually were talking about frozen fish, and that's what I'm using. You can use fresh fish by all means. This is 1 pound of frozen mahi-mahi that I just got from Costco. And I just let it thaw on a paper towel overnight in the refrigerator. So you can use any firm white fleshed fish. So that could be halibut, tilapia, or cod. And I'm just gonna cut these into maybe a little bit smaller pieces so they're easier to manage. I'm just gonna use my hands to turn it in the marinade. Now, because there is lime juice in here, you don't want to marinate this for longer than 20 minutes. You do want to do it for about 20 minutes, but no longer, because the acid will start to almost cook the fish, kind of like when you're making ceviche, and you don't want that. Okay, and then we're just going to pop this in the refrigerator for 20 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to wash up, shred up my iceberg lettuce, and warm up my corn tortillas. I got my timing down solid because it's been 20 minutes and my fish are done marinating, and then I toasted up my tortillas over the gas flame directly on the grate. And I do that because I like that charred, blistery look to it, and it gets a little puffy and delicious. So I have some corn tortillas because I just like the taste and it's a little healthier than flour. And then I just put them in a foil packet to keep nice and warm. We're gonna heat up our pan, and you don't have to add oil to it because obviously we use the canola oil in the fish. So that marinade works as the cooking oil too. And see, you're not gonna use up all of that oil because there's gonna be some left behind. My pan is large enough, so I think I could fit every piece on here. Yeah. I secretly get so happy whenever I hear that sound. Just set your timer for about 3 minutes. And make sure that it's nicely golden brown on the bottom and opaque and white around the sides. And it's okay if it falls apart a little bit because it's meant to flake. And it's gonna be in smaller pieces than your taco anyway. So it's kind of like a foolproof recipe. It is a thing of beauty, let me tell you. So, I mean, what is better than a golden crust, right? The second side only takes about 2 minutes. But remember, the heat of your pan and the thickness of your fish, it all determines your cooking time. So with white fish, you do want to make sure it's cooked all the way through, so it's opaque and white all the way through the middle. But you don't want it to be overcooked and then it turns all dry. You can even cheat by slicing through it with a fork because you're going to break it up anyway, right? That's what you're looking for. You can still see the juiciness coming out of it. Okay, so all of my other prep is completely done. Now I'm just gonna eat it. Look at this buffet of deliciousness. This is the beautiful juice that came out from straining my salsa. I wouldn't throw this out, I don't know about you. You can totally just throw this over some yellow rice and it adds a juicy, citrus, bright flavor to it. I mean, that is beautiful fish right there. I'm gonna add some shredded iceberg lettuce for a little refreshing crunch. Some of that beautiful homemade fresh salsa. And why don't I just throw in a couple of avocado chunks, shall we? A little bit of light sour cream. You just need a tiny bit of that creamy touch. A little bit of cilantro. Look how fun, festive, cute, fresh, flavorful that looks. These are 6-inch corn tortillas. I would warm up about 3 a person. I mean, I could hardly keep this together because I'm a little greedy and I made it busting. That is pretty ridiculous. That is juicy, vibrant, fresh, light, hearty. I don't know, it's everything. And I think that it totally reminds me of my California days. You know what the best part of this is? It's bursting with so many different flavors that complement each other that it almost tastes like it's bad for you, but it's not. I think you're gonna really like it. Let me give you some substitutions. You could always use mango salsa if you want a little fun, fruity, and sweet twist, or you could always use cabbage instead of lettuce. And I've actually made a couple of videos using cabbage, so you can check that out here and here. So these are my fish tostada recipes and I use cabbage in both of them, so check those out too. You can also make a fish sandwich and use regular bread. I've actually had some fish left over the next day and mixed it with some mayonnaise and treated it like a tuna fish sandwich, and it's amazing, let me tell you. You can also substitute by using shrimp. So use the same exact marinade and use a pound of shrimp and try that, and then you'll have awesome shrimp tacos or burritos. Well, I hope you enjoyed spending time with me today, and I hope you give this a try. Thanks, Lee, for the inspiration, because honestly, this is amazing. If you enjoyed watching this video, remember to push like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. I feel like I'm back in California again.